Because this whole love affair that the Obama zombies and Obamunists have with universal health care and wealth redistribution is obnoxious. Because they don't know where these rights come from. I'm going to play one clip from the debate, and one clip only. The question was, is health care a right, a privilege, or a responsibility?
Well, why don't let's talk about this, Tom, because there was just a lot of stuff out there.
Privilege, right, responsibility.
Well,
start with that.
I think it should be a right for every American. In a country as wealthy as ours, for us to have people who are going bankrupt because they can't pay their medical bills.
I cut it off. You heard him. He said it's a right. It's a right. Where does that right originate from? The right. Health care is a product, whether it be a physical product in pharmaceuticals or a product of labor at the hands of a doctor. It's a product. If you have a right to something, who then is to provide it? Well, the government. Well, where does the government get its resources from? The taxpayer, you. So that means if one person has the right, another person has the responsibility. You can't separate rights and responsibilities. You can't see. Rights are not a social commodity. They are not social capital, where one person's rights can be elevated while decreasing the rights of another. Rights are individual. There's no such thing as a collective right. We have individual rights. And the rights of one individual are not negotiable at the hands of another individual. And as far as rights go, the Constitution, I don't have time to list every single power of the federal government. But Article 1, Section 8, Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises. Now, it gives a laundry list of things that the government can do with taxpayer money. Raise an army and navy, constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, build post offices and post roads, all that good stuff. Nowhere in there is it mentioned that because you exist and you're processing oxygen, that you have a right to health care. You simply do not. Now, you see, this is what people forget. You think, oh, wow, I'm going to get free health care. Well, you get free health care, they get 300 million people all getting free. Where's the money come from? Even if the federal government pays for something, it still has a limited capital pool to play with, unless they plan on taxing Americans to 100%. At some point, they're going to have to say to themselves, this is the amount of money we have to spend on health care. You know what happens next? It's called rationing. Oh, what's rationing? What does that mean, Andrew? I mean, I'm not going to get free health care. Let's say you've got, and these are arbitrary numbers, 10 blocks of $100,000. Each one of these blocks is designated to treat a specific type of cancer. And you've got 12 people who are diagnosed with this cancer. Now, you may have someone in that pool who spent their entire life paying into a system that was created around them without their consent. They've paid their whole life. Now they need treatment. Then you've got a 21-year-old recent immigrant. Maybe he has an H-1B visa. Well, when they're rationing who's going to get one of these blocks, the retiree who paid into the system, who isn't going to live much longer anyway, or the 21-year-old immigrant. Well, the 21-year-old immigrant would most likely benefit in the long term from this block, this $100,000 grant, this ration for this type of cancer. That's who's going to get it. Let me add in this, behavior. You, the individual taxpayer, will now be responsible for the behavior of every single other American. You have person A and person B, man A, man B. They decide that they are going to have unprotected gay sex. Now, this is a behavior that you and I can't regulate. We can't tell them not to do it. You know, keep your laws off my body. Keep your government out of my bedroom. So these two men are now free to do what it is gay men do. If one of them transmits a life-threatening disease to the other, guess who pays the bill? You. You pay the bill. They have the right to behave that way, and you have the responsibility to pay for it. Rights and responsibilities. You have no right whatsoever to tell them what they can and can't do. You can't socially regulate their behavior. They are adults in the privacy of their own bedroom. But you know what? Keep your government out of my bedroom. Well, all of a sudden, the government's in your bedroom when you get sick. So what Senator Obama and the Obamianists and the Obama zombies want is for people to behave in any way, shape, or form they see fit because that's their right. And to be able to come to you and make it your responsibility. You have someone sitting at the buffet, stuffing their face with a shovel, pushing maximum density. Now they got diabetes, heart disease, clogged arteries, their knees hurt, they can't stand up. They weigh 700 pounds. You know who pays for that? You. If you lead a normal life, you maybe drink socially, you don't smoke, you're in a monogamous, faithful relationship, married with children, you eat right and take care of yourself. What do you get for it? Well, you get a healthy life, but you also get saddled with responsibility. You know, it's the old saying, what do you get for doing good work? More work. What Senator Obama is unwilling to do, and I can't get one liberal with a spine and some guts to say, you know what, it's socialism, and I'm fine with that. They describe it by every other romantic description except calling it what it is. It is socialism. When you say one person has the right and the other person has the responsibility, you are describing socialism. You are saying to people, you are tethered to that person. Whatever they do, you can't stop, but now you got to pay for it. So we're responsible for each other now. All 300 million. You know what? If you want the government to really work for you, the hell with being to work on time. The hell with doing a good job and working hard. Quit your job, get drunk, and pee yourself. Just lay in the street and urinate on yourself. Obama will back the meat truck up. What do you want? They'll bring up the roach coach, throw the side of it. What do you want? You want a free house? You want some free food? Now, need. Oh, they need it. People need health care. Well, anything on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I guess, would be entitled to them by the government. I mean, you need food long before you need the doctor. So if people need health care and therefore it's their right to have it and you have the responsibility to provide it, why not universal nutrition? Why not have the government step in and decide that cattle ranchers, poultry farmers, dairy farmers, corn farmers, whoever, they owe the product of their labor to hungry people, not a free market. It's entitled. They need it. Universal nutrition. You need shelter. Universal housing. You need clothing. Universal apparel. You say, come on, Andrew, that's nuts. That's absolutely insane. It would be insane to believe it would all happen in one day, the day after Obama gets inaugurated. But the federal government, under FDR, had no problem coming up with the idea that the government was going to nationalize retirement and tell every single American they had no right but to participate in Social Security. You're so used to it. You know what's amazing about Barack Obama? When you hear him say, yes, we can, and talk about sacrifices we're going to make, he's not talking about him. He's talking about you. He's talking about saddling you with responsibility. You know who gets credit for it? Him. This isn't about compassion. Compassion is when we do things out of the goodness of our heart. When the government makes us do it, it's compulsion. Basically, Barack Obama wants to tell the producers of our economy, you don't produce enough. You don't do enough. Well, you know what? The producers should deny production. Fire your employees. Close your business. Refuse to contribute. Let's see what Barack Obama does if everyone who makes $250,000 doesn't show up for work. Fires their nannies, fires their gardeners, doesn't spend money in a restaurant, pumps their own gas, mows their own lawns. There's only 3 types of people that continue to perform in the face of diminishing incentive. Slaves, prisoners, and robots. Well, you're not a robot, so that only leaves slaves and prisoners. Which one do you want to be? Which one of you wants to live your life working for the government, working for Obama, working for the collective? Rights and responsibilities. They have the right to behave. You have the responsibility to pay. You can't stop these people. It's their rights. They have the right to be gay, to be fat, to be drunk, to be high, to be stupid. You have the responsibility to pay. You go to work. You get up in the morning. You sacrifice time away from your family. Go to work. Push, pull, dig, sweat. Spend extra time on the job, in the office, working a double shift. You owe it to them. They're hungry, they're tired, they're poor, they're needy. And it's your fault. And if not, they'll take to the streets. Acorn will throw a brick through your window. You aren't producing for yourself. You aren't working to satisfy your own needs, to feed your own family. You're working for everyone else. You don't own your labor. You don't own your productivity. You don't own your mind. Obama does.